Hey, what's going on there, YouTube? This is SEO0320 representing JVS. I'm going to make this a very quick review for The Murder of Orient Express. This is actually directed by Kenneth Branagh, and he actually stars as the main character in Hercule. Hercule is an investigator and privately investigator, but one of the world-renowned detectives that actually can solve any kind of case. And he gets put in this situation where he's on this train where somebody has been murdered, and he is actually put in a situation where he has to solve it. Where he kind of was like, all right, I don't want to do anything. I just want to rest. And then it goes from there. I have not seen the older or never read the older book for The Murder of Orient Express, but I can say personally that this is a very enjoyable film from the beginning to the end, because I think partly because of his acting. I've seen this guy act in a lot of different movies before. I've seen him act in Valkyrie. His most recent was in Dunkirk. And like his look and the way that he processes and perceives everything, I was immersed into his story. I was immersed into, what he thinks and what he perceives as right and wrong. Like how he interacts with people and how he socially is just awkward, but so genuine at the same exact time. And then everybody he interacts with, from the actors in this one, is actually a really long line. I'm going to have to read them off. You got Penelope Cruz, William Dafoe, Judi Dench, who else? You got Daisy Ridley, Leslie Odom Jr., and just an all-star cast, and Josh Gad and Donnie Depp. Honestly, there are a couple moments where all of these actors have moments that steal the show. I think Kenneth does such a really good job as Hercule, but even Josh Gad, there's this one moment where he interacts with this, Hercule, his character does, and like he's kind of being like investigated and like asked these probing questions, and then he just starts to emote, and like Josh Gad commits so well. I was like, yo, DCU needs to hire you as the Penguin, because you would be great. You are an excellent actor, and everybody else as well, because none of their characters are what you perceive them to be. And that's not spoiling anything. It's just very interesting character dissection. I think that movies like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 has proven that you can really immerse yourself into different characters in a short amount of time frame. And this movie just takes that to a whole nother level, because what you perceive for the characters in the very beginning, once you meet them, is completely different by the end of the movie. By the end of the movie, you're like, wow, this was an amazing immersion experience. I think that the visual effects are really good as well, like the panned out shots while they're on the train, the moments where, Hercule is at one point, he's in Jerusalem. There's another moment where, he's in this dusty kind of area. And just the aesthetic of how it kind of feels old, but it feels modern and hip. I think that part of the modern and hip comes from the camera design. A lot of the cinematography, it goes and it moves throughout different panned out people's faces, so you can focus and zero in on one person, and you're like, still, you can look to the corner of your eye like, should I trust this person, kind of thing. And I think that the movie, from a narrative standpoint, will keep you guessing. If you've seen the old ones, I think it'll probably just be the same exact thing. But for me personally, never seeing the older movies or knowing anything about the character or knowing anything about what came before, I was pleasantly surprised. Me and my wife, we really enjoyed it. I feel like, for me, I give this a 9 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed The Murder of Orient Express. And I think that, honestly, Kenneth could get like a nomination for Best Actor. I think that when Johnny Depp got nominated for the first Pirates of the Caribbean, it was merited, because the character is just so unique, and you get immersed into them to the point you're like, wow, like this is all based on this one moment. And then there's one moment towards the very end that Kenneth really dives in deep, and I was kind of just like, I want to know more about your character, kind of thing. And I think that everybody has an interesting standout moment. Judi Dench did, definitely William Dafoe did, but Daisy Ridley and what is the guy's name? Leslie Odom were the surprises for me, because I know Daisy can act. She's a good actress, but I didn't know she could be versatile in the performances and the character design that she could aesthetically create. And Leslie Odom was the same as that thing in this one, because he was layered character. So if you enjoy, character development and progression and you want a good time at the movie theaters, I think that The Murder at Orient Express will be something that you're really going to enjoy with friends or family, or just general from a cinematography standpoint. So definitely go and check it out. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Peace, you guys.